I'm on the side of people who think that demonetisation was just the craziest thing ever. I think it was completely nutty, a huge mistake, and the worst thing that Narendra Modi has done in his time as Prime Minister. I was a foreign correspondent in India for 5 years for the Financial Times. I lived in Mumbai, and so while I was there I became fascinated by the rise of India's billionaire class. Every day I would pass underneath the shadow of Antilia Mukesh Ambani's big house, and I suppose I was interested in who were these people, how did they make their money, and what did they believe. The story that I tell in The Billionaire Raj is really a story about India and globalization. And so in the beginning of the 2000s is the Indian economy globalized very, very quickly. And that meant that things that previously were not very valuable, like coal mining licenses, iron ore licenses, and telecom spectrum, suddenly became very valuable. And that's why you've got this phenomenon of big businessmen and politicians conspiring with one another to divvy up these now more valuable licenses. Has lifted a lot of people out of poverty as its economy has grown, but most of the proceeds of growth have gone right to the top. Because I focus on the billionaires as an exemplar, and the number of billionaires in India has exploded. There were only 2 of them in the mid-1990s, and now there are 120, and together they control $450 billion. Raghuram Rajan, the central bank governor, before he was the head of the RBI in 2008, at the height of the corruption scandals, asked the question, if Russia is an oligarchy, how long are we to not call India the same thing? Because it has many of the same characteristics. Creating wealth is a good thing, and India needs more wealth, but you don't want to have an excess of wealth and power in the hands of a very few. I'm on the side of people who think that demonetisation was just the craziest thing ever. I think it was completely nutty, a huge mistake, and the worst thing that Narendra Modi has done in his time as Prime Minister. And other things that he has done in office have been much better. The bankruptcy law does seem to be beginning belatedly to tackle the problem of excessive corporate debt. The record on the banking system, which is still teetering under non-performing loans that are maybe 18% of, maybe as high as 20%, we don't really know, of all bank assets. The problem, I think, is that they've been very timid in introducing the kind of structural reforms that India's economy needs. If you want to boost manufacturing, increase job creation, you need radical measures to reform agriculture, to make it easier to enhance manufacturing, to open up trade. And on all of these fronts, Modi has either been timid or the political circumstances have simply conspired against him and he's been unable to act. But on either way, progress has been distressingly slow. is relatively free, it's quite feisty, it's rambunctious. So there are many positives. However, there are a number of problems, one of which is that there has been a sort of rightward drift and an unwillingness to criticize Mr. Modi because he's so powerful. And you have a similar problem as in the United States, when you just have excessively partisan media coverage, that is a weakness of the Indian system. It doesn't have a BBC or a big sort of well-regarded national state broadcaster or an equivalent of Le Monde or the New York Times. And so the risk is, one of the people quoted in my book said that India had fake news well before anyone else got to this situation.